The first day of a new school year is always full of energy. Children laugh, talk, and run to their seats. Some wave at old friends. Others whisper secrets or show new toys from the summer. The classroom feels alive, like a garden in spring. I stood at the front, smiling, ready to welcome them all. I wrote my name on the board and said, "Good morning, everyone. I am your teacher this year." 20 bright faces looked at me, curious and excited. But in the very back corner, near the window, sat a small girl. Her name was Lily. She had dark hair that fell across her face, and her hands folded tightly in her lap. While other children whispered and laughed, she stayed quiet. She didn't smile, didn't raise her eyes, didn't join in the noise of the class. At first, I thought nothing of it. Some children are shy. Some take time to feel comfortable. I decided to wait and give her space. Days passed, and I noticed the same thing again and again. Lily always sat alone at lunch. When children played at recess, she stood at the edge of the playground, watching. If another child asked her name, she answered softly, then turned away. In group work, she let others lead, writing almost nothing. I started to wonder. Was she just shy, or was there something deeper? One afternoon, I gave the children a simple task: draw a picture of their family. The classroom filled with crayons and bright colors. Children drew smiling parents, brothers, sisters, pets. They showed each other their pictures, laughing. But when I came to Lily's desk, her paper was mostly empty. In the center was only a small house, drawn in pencil. No people. No color. Just a lonely little house. "Do you want to add more?" I asked gently. She shook her head and whispered, "No." Her eyes looked older than her years. In that moment, my heart felt heavy. The weeks went on. I tried small things, asking her to read a sentence, inviting her to join a group game, praising her neat handwriting. She answered politely but without joy. She always slipped back into silence. Other children began to notice too. They did not tease her, but they stopped trying. At lunch, no one invited her to sit with them. On the playground, she was a shadow. I watched and felt a mix of frustration and sadness. Why wouldn't she let others in? One Friday, after class, I spoke with the math teacher who had Lily the year before. "She's very quiet," I said. "Does she have close friends?" The teacher sighed. "Not really. She came here in the middle of the year. Before that, she was in another school. She moves a lot." I asked, "Why does she move so often?" But the teacher only shrugged. "I don't know the details. I think her family has to move for her father's job. She's never in one place for long." That evening, I couldn't stop thinking about her. A little girl who never smiled, never drew her family, never made friends, because she knew she would lose them soon. But I didn't know the whole truth yet. All I knew was that Lily was slipping away, day by day, into her corner seat by the window. And I began to wonder, how could I reach her? The autumn days grew shorter, and the classroom filled with the sound of pencils scratching on paper, chairs moving, and children laughing at small jokes. But still, in the back corner, Lily remained quiet. I often looked at her and wondered what was hidden behind those serious eyes. One afternoon, when most of the students had already gone home, I saw Lily waiting by the door. She stood there, holding her backpack tightly, her head down. I asked, "Is everything all right?" She lifted her eyes for a moment and whispered, "My mom said we might move again soon." Her words hit me like a cold wind. Suddenly many things became clear. The empty drawings, the silence at recess, the way she never tried to make friends, it was all because she never felt safe. Why build friendships if they would be taken away in a few months? Why open her heart if she had to say goodbye again and again? That evening, I sat at my desk long after the school was quiet. I thought about her life, about always being the new kid, about carrying boxes into strange houses, about never staying long enough to belong. My heart ached for her. I decided I had to do something. The next week, I announced to the class, we will have a school play for the winter festival. The children cheered with excitement. They loved the idea of costumes, songs, and parents in the audience. I began giving out parts. Some would be animals, some trees, some dancers. When I came to Lily, I paused. She looked nervous, her hands twisting in her lap. I smiled and said, "Lily, I have a special part for you." Her eyes widened. "It's not a big part," I continued gently, "but it is important. Would you like to try?" She hesitated, then gave the smallest nod. Over the next weeks, rehearsals filled our afternoons. At first, Lily barely spoke. She whispered her lines, almost afraid of her own voice. Some children giggled, but I quickly told them everyone needs practice. We help each other. Slowly, Lily grew braver. Each day, her voice was a little stronger. I stayed after school with her several times, just the two of us in the quiet classroom. We read the lines together, over and over. Sometimes she stumbled, sometimes she forgot, but I praised every small step. "That was wonderful, Lily. Let's try again." One evening, as she finished a line perfectly, I saw something new, a small smile. It was quick, shy, but it was there. For the first time, I felt hope. The night of the play finally came. The auditorium buzzed with parents, siblings, neighbors. Children in costumes whispered nervously behind the curtain. I looked at Lily, dressed in a simple white costume, her hair tied back neatly. Her hands shook, but when she saw me, I gave her a thumbs up. She nodded, eyes wide but ready. When her moment came, the lights were bright and the stage was silent. Lily stepped forward. For 1 second, I feared she would freeze. But then, in a clear voice, she spoke her lines. Strong, steady, perfect. The audience applauded. Some even cheered. I saw Lily's eyes shine. She looked out at the crowd, at her classmates, at me. And then she smiled. Not a small, quick smile, but a real one. Bright, full, alive. That night changed everything. After the play, other children surrounded her. You were amazing, Lily, they said. She laughed softly and said thank you. The next day, at recess, she joined a group for the first time. It was only a simple game of tag, but it meant so much. As the year went on, Lily grew more confident. She raised her hand in class. She read aloud without fear. She even made a few close friends. I knew she might move again, but for that moment, she belonged. And she knew it too. Years passed. I taught many classes, many children. Some I remembered only faintly, but Lily never left my mind. Then, one spring morning, a letter arrived at the school. The handwriting was neat but unfamiliar. Dear Miss Adams, it began. I don't know if you remember me, but I was your student years ago. My name is Lily. I was the quiet girl who always sat at the back. I want you to know something. That school play you made me join, it was the first time I ever felt seen. It was the first time I believed I could do something special. Today, I am writing to you as a graduate of theater school. I am now an actress. I stand on real stages in front of hundreds of people. And every time I do, I remember the day you gave me my first role. Thank you for giving me my first chance. You changed my life. Tears filled my eyes as I finished the letter. I held it close and thought of the small girl with dark hair who once drew only a lonely house on her paper. She had become a woman who could fill a stage with light. And I realized again why I became a teacher, not just to teach words or numbers, but to open doors, to help a quiet child find her voice.